What if the code you write could be read out loud like a sentence? That is Python. Think of it as learning the alphabet before you write a novel. Once you have these pieces, you can build almost anything from little scripts to full apps. Let's get into it. Before we touch code, here is your map for today. Just 4 words: variable, function, loop, and condition. Do not worry about definitions yet. We will unpack each one with a real-world picture when we get there. Just know these 4 words are basically the whole toolkit. Imagine sticky notes on jars in your kitchen. You write age on one jar and put 25 inside. That is exactly what a variable does. Notice we never had to say this jar holds a number and that one holds text. Python figures it out on its own. In short, a variable is just a named jar holding a value. So the jars can hold different kinds of stuff. Whole numbers are integers. Numbers with decimal points are floats. Text wrapped in quotes is a string. And a simple switch that is either true or false is a Boolean. You might wonder why this matters. It is because Python treats each kind differently when you do math or comparisons. In short, the type just describes what is sitting inside the jar. Here is your first real tool, the print function. Think of it as a little speaker that announces whatever you hand it. So when you write print hello world, Python literally says that back to you on screen. This is how you will peek inside your program the whole time you're learning. Picture a fork in the road with a sign that says, "Are you 18 or older?" If yes, you go one way. If no, you go the other. That sign is exactly what an if statement does in code. Here is the trick. The indented lines underneath belong to that decision. So Python knows exactly which path to follow. In short, if and else, just let your program choose between 2 roads.
Imagine telling a friend, "Knock on this door 3 times," instead of saying knock, knock, knock separately. That is what a loop does. It repeats an action for you. A for loop is great when you know how many times, and a while loop keeps going until some condition tells it to stop. In short, loops let the computer do the repeating so you do not have to.
Let's watch this loop step by step. On the first trip through, I is 0, then it becomes 1, then 2, and each time the body of the loop runs again with that new value. Notice how nothing here is copy-pasted. The same line just gets reused with fresh data. Clean. A function is like a coffee machine. You put in beans and water, and out comes coffee every single time without you rebuilding the machine. Here we built a greet function that takes a name and hands back a greeting. Once it exists, you can call it as many times as you want with different names. In short, functions let you write logic once and reuse it forever. Picture handing someone a note that says the door when you mean is the door open. That is what happens when you swap equals for double equals. Python quietly does the wrong thing. I mixed these up constantly when I started. Indentation is just as sneaky. One misplaced space and the whole block reads differently. Watch for these 2 and you will dodge most beginner bugs. Think of a list as a row of lockers, each one numbered starting from 0, not 1. So fruits at position 1 is not apple, it is banana, because counting starts at 0. This trips up almost everyone at first, so do not feel bad if it takes a moment to click. In short, a list is just an ordered row of boxes you can peek into by number. Now here is a real trade-off worth knowing. A list can be edited after you make it, but a tuple is locked forever once created. My honest opinion, tuples are underrated. People default to lists out of habit, even when their data should never change. Using a tuple on purpose actually protects you from accidental bugs later. So here's the trick to seeing it all connect. This function checks if a number is even or odd, and the loop calls it 4 times in a row. Notice how variables, a condition, and a loop are all working together inside one small function. That combination right there is basically the engine behind most Python programs you will ever write. Let us recap. Variables hold your data, conditions and loops steer what happens next, and functions plus lists keep everything organized and reusable. None of this is magic. It is just a handful of building blocks stacked together. Go write a few tiny programs this week, and it will click fast. The hard part's done. The subscribe button's right there.